All right, y'all, so we've hopped in the water right here. We've made a little change in our game plan this morning. So we originally were gonna go to Mosquito Island, which is right back there. But just like the other day when we pulled up, there's like 9 or 10 people out there and they're all in the exact spot where everyone wants to be to catch those trout. So everyone's fishing the little hole over there. So we moved over to Skyline Drive right here. We're gonna fish these rocks. My idea behind this is that the wind is blowing from the southeast straight this way. We're gonna have the wind at our back, and this wind is gonna push some fish into these rocks, some bait fish. And because the bait fish are there, the predator fish are gonna be up feeding on them. So hopefully we'll be able to get in something. We just waded in on the very base of the dike right here. It's about waist deep. Gets a little bit deeper out here. Water's nice and clean. And yeah, let's see if we can get on something. I know this is a good spot to catch really anything. Trout, redfish, flounder, even up against these rocks. So we'll see if we can hook into something. Y'all can't see it, but out this way there's like probably 100 birds all in total throughout this whole area. Pelicans and seagulls just feeding, and that's all those trout under those birds. So we can't reach in from where we are. You can't reach in from anywhere out here unless you have a boat. But if you can get to those birds, that's speckled trout galore. So good news is we know that there's fish at least relatively close to this area. But let's put on a shrimp. We're gonna throw a popping cork. We have about 3.5 foot a leader right here, 20-pound leader. Little popping cork split shot and a little number 8 treble hook. Let's go ahead and put on a live shrimp, toss it up close to these rocks. And we're just gonna work this whole area just zigzagging back and forth, closer to the rocks and farther out. You never know how close those fish are holding to the structure. Let's put a live shrimp on here, cast it out, see if we can hook into something. So we're getting to where we want to fish. Let's go ahead and grab a shrimp out of our bait bucket. And this is just a wade fishing bait bucket right here. This will keep your bait alive while you're in the water. You don't need an aerator or anything like that. It has holes in it, keeps some fresh water moving in and out of there, keeps your shrimp alive. So let's grab it. I'm gonna grab a shrimp. The shrimp are all pretty big this time of year. Like that's a jumbo shrimp. Typically I like smaller shrimp, especially for speckled trout. The smaller the shrimp I can find in the bucket, the better. I'm not talking like little 2-inch shrimp, but something like that. That's a perfect trout shrimp right there. So we're gonna take our shrimp, show you how to hook them up. We're gonna take our little treble hook right here, and we're gonna go right in the head. Now you can't go in front of the horn right there, or you can go right in that little spot. Just you want to make sure that you don't hit any of these little black spots in their head. That's their brain. That's gonna kill them. So I actually like to go in front through the hardest part of the horn, come out the other side. We'll see if he starts jumping there. Sometimes you gotta give him a chance to wake up, but that right there is a live shrimp hooked up. We're just gonna cast it up on these rocks. Once we let it hit the water, we're gonna let that cork sit straight up and down. That basically means that's ensuring that our bait's not on the bottom. The cork's sitting straight up and down, that weight's holding it down. And then we just give it a couple hard pops to hopefully call in those fish. Also, y'all, you gotta be careful whenever you're wade fishing like this, especially when you're wearing waders. This is hopefully one of the last time we'll be wearing waders of the year, and then we'll start wet wading. But you gotta be careful because you have waves coming from your back. They can crash over the back of your waders. Not necessarily dangerous when you're in shallow water like this, but it will get you pretty cold. Anyway, so we're just gonna do this. We're gonna repeat it all the way down. We're gonna go probably 1, 2, 3 or 4 light poles down. Hopefully we'll run into something. Let's get after it. All right, we're on, y'all. My cork went straight down. I didn't know if I was just seeing things or if it actually went down, but I got a good fish here. What I did was I actually cast out a little bit farther from the rocks because I've been noticing a bunch of mullet, but the mullet are all out in this area. They're not right up on the rocks right now. So I've cast out a little bit farther. We'll see what this is. It could be a real nice trout, or it could be a red. Let's see. Looks like a nice trout. Yeah, it's a nice keeper trout. Caleb with the net job. Thank you, Sir Caleb. And that is going to be a keeper trout right there. Grab him out of the net. Hey.
Let's go, baby. Come on.
That's what I'm talking about, boys.
Look how pretty that thing is.
First fish of the morning. Let's get him in the sunshine. That is a beautiful speckled trout down here on the Texas coast. Down here in Texas, speckled trout have to be between 15 and 25 inches long in our part of Texas. The upper Texas coast, I should say. And you can keep 5 a day up here. If you go down south, you can only keep 3, and I believe the slot is like 17 to 23 inches. Don't quote me on that. It's not really my region, but hey, never unhook your fish till you get them on the stringer. We got them on the stringer, put that back, and now that is officially a caught speckled trout. A beautiful one to start the day, and just an amazing bite. We're gonna go ahead, toss this guy in the water, get him floating behind us so he stays alive. Hey, and let's see if we can repeat that and do it again. That was a foot off the rocks, dude. That could be a flounder? What is that? It is a flounder, a little flounder. Wait, is that a flounder or a stingray? Hold up. Yeah, hey, not a keeper. Man, I just got done saying how I bet you there's flounder right on these rocks right here. And as soon as mine drifted close to the rocks, we got a flounder. Now this guy ain't a keeper. To be quite honest, guys, this guy would have been a keeper, what, 3 years ago before they changed the limit from 14 to 15? He is right under 15. We're standing up here shallow. The waves are cracking over us. We don't want to be out there deep. And we're just making casts out there and letting it drift in, trying to find these fish. So far, the 2 trout have came from farther out. And obviously the flounder just came from on the rocks. There we go, y'all, right there. That is a 14-inch southern flounder. Flounder in Texas have to be 15 inches and they have no upper size limit. You can keep 5 of them a day. Fortunately, this guy's small, so we'll go ahead and get a release on him. Gonna swim off, live another day, and maybe we'll catch his bigger brother. All right, y'all, check this out, guys. I was putting on another bait right here, and my line was just sitting here with no bait on it, and I just hooked somebody else's rig and caught this fish. A little drum. What? Hey, we don't know how long this guy's been caught. He could have been snagged down there in the rocks. I got a shrimp on me right now. It's like the last live one, but dude, we're gonna get this guy unhooked and we're gonna get him on his way. I wish I had the camera rolling. Look how messed up his mouth is. He's been on there for a while. I managed to hook their weight, which, what kind of setup is that? Insane. Hey, there you go, little buddy. Go live your life. Wow, good for him. That's crazy. Just snag these little weights right there on the bottom. We're gonna get this line out of the water, get these weights out of the water, put them up in my bag, throw them away when we get back to the car, or keep them for ourselves. I think I have the last live shrimp in the bucket here. Unfortunately, for some reason this morning, all the shrimp died. I don't know if it took us too long to get them in the water. It was only like 5-10 minutes, but they all died, so I think I have the last live shrimp here, and after this I'm probably going to switch over to a lure and really try to target these trout. Well, I did get bit right there, but that bait got stolen. It seems to be that we're getting into some bait sealers here. I'll show y'all. They're just ripping off little pieces of the shrimp, eating all their legs, and that's how you know that they're bait sealers. That's a telltale sign. Whenever you're reeling your bait and all their legs or their underbelly's gone. So let's go ahead and cut off this popping cork and I'll show you what I'm going to tie on. I'll tell you what, guys, just like what y'all saw there, we're getting absolutely drenched. Walking back into the wind is always terrible, and we're just getting completely rinsed right now. And as you can see in front of us, we have all these pelicans diving. That's close to where we started catching those first few trout, so maybe there's a school of something up there. We're gonna get up there and see if we can hook them, and hopefully safely make our way out of here without getting our waders filled with water, because it's pretty chilly this morning. I just got bit right off the rocks here. What? That's a jack. That's a damn jack. Look at that line coming off the reel. Broken. Woo, boy. I was popping like this, y'all. Pop up, and I felt a thump. I set it, didn't even know if it was a rock or not. It took off the other way. Look at that. I cannot even pull that drag with my hand. And that thing just yanked out 60 yards of line like that quick. I had to break him. Oh, I did not think that was a bull red. This is right where those pelicans were diving, so I wouldn't be, you can see them, so I wouldn't be surprised if there was more out here. Well, with that, I'm gonna go ahead and walk out. I'm not even gonna retie. We're almost back to the beginning. I'm okay not hooking into another one of those. There's no way you're gonna land them on this gear, so see y'all back at the truck. All right, so I'm gonna give y'all a little morning recap real quick. So first of all, let's talk about what just happened. I was just talking to the GoPro. I had it rolling about how we were walking back to the truck because we were done fishing out there. The wind was picking up and all that stuff. And then I clicked it off, made probably like 5 to 6 casts. And then the hook set that I did was TV worthy. I'm talking like record book hook set. I was bouncing my jig, felt a bump, thumped it, and the rod, it didn't bend from up here. No. It bent from way down here. I don't know what the heck I just hooked. My thought was probably a jack, because yesterday or 2 days ago when we came out here, I caught like a 34, 35 inch bull red on this same exact setup right here. And yeah, I was at least able to put my thumb on the reel and turn his head the other day. This one, there was no chance. So I'm not thinking it was a red. If it was like 40 something inches. I'm thinking it was a jack, but Caleb, who's holding the camera right now, he has bets that it was a shark. It could have been, who knows? There are sharks out here, and they will occasionally eat lures like that. So it could have been anything, we really don't know, and we'll never know. That's the fun part about it. It makes you want to keep coming out here and catching more. Other than that, We had a pretty good morning, guys. We had a nice couple hours wade fishing, ended up with 3 keeper trout on the stringer. I caught 3 fish, 1 undersized trout, 1 undersized flounder, and then 1 of these keepers. And then Caleb caught 2 of these keeper trout. So it was a pretty good morning for how the conditions were. You can't really complain. We have like 18-mile-per-hour winds out of the southeast. The water is not too clean. It's also not too dirty. It's just, you know, it's not the best. So waves are breaking over our back. I'm soaking wet, but hey, good morning out here. We are going to another spot real quick, so I'm gonna shut up, stop talking. I'm talking a little too much right now. We're gonna head over there, and we're gonna be trying to go for some slot reds in this little bayou that runs behind the dike, behind Skyline Drive over here, with those dead shrimp. Redfish love some stinky dead shrimp, so we'll see y'all over there. So we just pulled up to Skyline Drive right here, parked on the side of the road. They have certain areas where you can park, so if you're gonna come down here, you should look for those because they do kind of complain sometimes, but we're in a little parking area right here. It drops off, you can come take a look. It drops off down this little hill. You have this little bayou channel area. So I'm gonna show you what we're using real quick. We're using the door to hide behind the trunk to keep the wind out, but right here we have a Carolina rig. This is just one of those rigs that really catches everything. On my main line, which is 30-pound braid, I have a 1-ounce egg sinker down to a bead, and that bead just protects your knot, protects your swivel from that egg sinker. So we have the egg sinker, the bead, that's on the main line, and then we come down to a swivel. And from the swivel, we come down to about 1.5 feet, 2 feet of leader, and this is 20-pound monofilament. We didn't have fluorocarbon, but monofilament works just fine. And then from there, at the bottom of that, we have a little 2-aught circle hook, I believe it is. So that should work fine. We're gonna go put a piece of dead shrimp on this, cast out there, and hopefully we'll hook into a bull red, black drum, flounder, trout, anything. Most likely a hard head. So let's see what we can get into. Okay, so we just got down here to the water's edge. You can see the water's nice and clear in here. And it's not too deep out here. I really don't know how deep it is. We'll say maybe 3, 4, 5 feet. Maybe it gets 6, 7 feet in some places and 2 feet in others. But the beautiful thing about Carolina rig is that you can work it a bunch of different ways. You can cast out, you can let it sit, or you can cast out and kind of give it a little pop every once in a while, which is deadly for slot redfish in the surf. With the finger mullet, take a finger mullet, put it on your Carolina rig, and kind of pop it every once in a while. Kind of make that bead in that weight click, get that bait moving a little bit. But another good thing about them is that they kind of roll when they're down there. So we can cast it out with this dead shrimp, let it sit out there, and with the wind blowing like this and the current, it's going to slowly roll on the bottom, right? Because that's an egg bait, as you can see, rolls on the line. And so it's kind of like a fish finder. It just moves around, and if the fish aren't right where you cast out, hey, he'll take the bait right to them. That's the plan here. If you don't want it to roll, you can use a bigger egg sinker and it will hold in place. But we're going to take ourselves a dead shrimpy. We're going to hook it in the back, just like a beginner would hook it right whenever you pick up a shrimp. You can hook it by the tail. If they were live, I'd hook them by the tail on a Carolina. That's usually what I do. But with dead shrimp like this, we're gonna hook it right here. Dead shrimp tend to be pretty soft, and so if that fish bites it, we want it to have the best chance of getting that hook. If we hook in the tail, it might only bite the head. If we hook in the head, it might only bite the tail. If we hook in the middle, hopefully it'll eat all of it. But we gave that a cast out there. Now we're just gonna hold our line. We could put it in a rod holder, but we're just gonna hold our line down like this to kind of keep out of the wind. We're just gonna let that bait move along the bottom and hopefully we'll get hooked up. Oh, he came off. He was running towards us and I set the hook and he came off. Darn. That didn't take long. About 5 minutes in the water and we got bit. We did miss him. So maybe the strategy of hooking him to the body didn't work. Or maybe it was just a little baby fish. We'll grab another bait and get back in our spot. And this is just some good old-fashioned bank fishing that anybody can do. That's the fun part about it. It's not going to be as exciting as chasing jacks on the jetty or, you know, throwing artificial for big old surf trout. But simple and it's effective. So we'll sit back down here, see if we can get bit again. But we're not going to miss them this time. All right, y'all, I'm on. We've been sitting here a while. Caleb actually just caught himself a little black drum right at keeper size, but decided to let him go. Oh, he broke me on the rocks. Oh no, it didn't break me, it pulled hook, I lied. I could have sworn that felt like it snapped, but hey, we pulled hook on it, that's all right. We'll get another shrimp cast back out, see if we can catch something. Okay, so we got our fish cleaned up and now we are heading home. I'll tell you what, if you're ever gonna clean fish here at the dike, you gotta watch out, not just for the pelicans, but for the seagulls. The seagulls will swoop down on the table and try to pick up your fillets while you're cleaning them. The pelicans, they just sit on the floor and try to bite your ankles, so you might wanna bring a pair of snake boots. But We're gonna head back to the house now, and we're gonna do a pretty cool recipe for you guys. Actually, I'm not even gonna lie, I haven't even thought about what we're gonna do yet, but it's gonna be something cool. So y'all stick with it, stay tuned. I'll see y'all back at the house to cook up these fish. What is up, y'all? I'm back in the kitchen right now. I have my speckled trout right here, 2 beautiful speckled trout fillets. This one is cut in half. I accidentally messed up, went under the skin, so I had to redo it and fix it, but no skin on it right now. Looks great. And what we're gonna be making today is some blackened speckled trout over a bed of rice with some crawfish cream sauce on top. We had ourselves a little crawfish boil this weekend. We had some left over, went ahead, peeled them, put them in the fridge. Now we're gonna use this to make a delicious topping for our speckled trout. So we got some butter right here melting down in the pan. We're gonna be using this butter to blacken the fish and then also make that sauce with it. But right now we're just gonna let that finish melting down because it's super hot. We're gonna season up the speckled trout, which we'll go ahead and do that right now. Just use whatever coastal seasoning. If you have blackened seasoning, we're making blackened fish, so obviously use that. I don't have any right now. I couldn't find any in the pantry. I think I took it out of town. But we'll throw quite a bit of this on there. It's almost the same as blackened seasoning. Get both sides, pat it down so it sticks. Just like that. And now whenever that butter melts, you'll be ready for the pan. Super simple, y'all. This recipe is only gonna take about 15-20 minutes to completely cook and plate. Hey, y'all stick with this, stay tuned. I'm gonna show y'all something delicious that you can make with your next leftover crawfish and fresh cut fish. So that butter is brown right there, and that's actually exactly what we're looking for. We're gonna take our fish and lay it right in there. And now with this fish, we're just gonna give it maybe about 2 minutes per side to cook. We're looking for a nice little blackened crust on it. And we're looking for those sides to start getting white and creeping up, and that's how you know the fish is cooked. You can take a look right here, it's already starting to happen. You can see the meat starting to change colors on the side right there. That's that fish getting cooked. So just about 2 minutes per side, and the speckled trout will be done. So take a look at that fish right there. This is perfectly blackened speckled trout. Wow, looks great. We're gonna take this off, and like I said, it had only been about 2 minutes per side, if even that. Fish blackens super quick. So we have our blackened fish right here. We're gonna set it to the side, and let's go ahead and start on this cream sauce. We're gonna take this off. We're gonna let that grease, that butter cool down a little bit, and then I'm gonna add in a little bit of flour. So we're just gonna start by stirring in a little bit of flour. We're adding about equal parts flour to oil or equal parts flour to butter. So we're gonna put that in there. And if we had fresh butter in here, then it wouldn't be this dark of a color. You can see right there, it's pretty dark. And that's fine. It's just gonna make our sauce look a little bit darker in the end, but we're gonna stir that up. We're kind of making a little roux here as if we're making like crab bisque or something like that. So almost as if we're making bisque, that's how we're gonna start it out. So we're gonna let this cook down a little bit. We turned our heat down quite a bit. You don't wanna burn that butter. We're just gonna cook it down until it starts to bubble up and until it starts to change colors a little bit. Shouldn't take more than maybe 4 or 5 minutes. As you can see, it's gotten quite a bit darker here. So next what we're gonna do is we're gonna slide that off the heat, and we're gonna go in with some minced garlic. We're keeping it simple today, guys. We didn't cut up any garlic, we didn't cut up any onions, any celery, or anything like that. We're just gonna go with some seasonings instead of the actual produce. So some minced garlic in there, a little bit of onion powder, and that's really it. That's gonna be all the flavor into the sauce besides the crawfish tails. So put some onion powder. We're gonna stir this around. Once we get that nice and mixed together, then we will add in the heavy cream. I actually lied to you guys. Before we add in the heavy cream, we're gonna go in with the crawfish tails. Dump all those in there, and it's not many. I'm not gonna lie, they're pretty good. We've been eating them straight out of the bag. But throw these in here and mix all that around so we get them coated. It's gonna help thicken everything up too. And it's gonna help warm those crawfish tails up just a little bit. Okay, now we add in the cream. And we're just gonna eye it here. We're just gonna start with a little bit. Just like that. We're gonna add more as we go to get the right consistency. Slide it back over the heat, and yeah, that's pretty much it, y'all. And one other thing that I also forgot, I don't know what's going on, but I forgot to add some tomato paste. This will help give it some good color and just some good flavor there. So we'll add a couple tablespoons of tomato paste and then also a little bit of water, y'all. Add the water before your cream, not after. I forgot to do that too. But we add all that in there. Add some more water to thin it out as it needs to be, or some more cream. And that's it. Once we get all this mixed up, it's gonna be looking super good. Trust me, I know it doesn't look too good right now. Kind of looks like a pile of crap, but it'll look good in about 2 minutes here. Well, all we've done here is just keep stirring it, adding a little bit of water as we go. And it's looking pretty good. That is a nice crawfish cream sauce right there. So let's go ahead and plate this up real quick. First thing we're gonna do is take our fish. We have a little bit of rice right here. That is just some seasoned rice that we got. Just like minute rice or whatever, I don't even know what it is. But add our piece of fish on there. Just like that. Take some of these crawfish right here and put over this beautifully blackened speckled trout. Smother it in it. Get a little bit more. Try to make sure we have enough crawfish tails up in here. And that looks great. It may not be the best plating. We only had like a scoop of rice on there, but hey, it doesn't look too bad either. And I know it's gonna be delicious. So let's let it cool down and we'll go ahead and give it a taste and let you know just how good it is. Here's one last look at it. Looks absolutely delicious. Super excited to try it out. Let's see how good it is. Okay, we're gonna get a little bit of crawfish tail, the fish, some rice on there. Just a big old combo bite. Y'all check that out. I don't think it gets much better than that. Cheers. That is super good right there, y'all. I definitely recommend trying out this recipe. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this plate, but before I do that, I wanna say thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you're not already. If you are, like always, thank you guys so very much. That's it for right now. More videos coming soon. Until then, peace.